Hello class, so today we are going to be looking at volcanoes once again, and so you guys have been learning about how volcanoes form and why they erupt and just different things. And so today we are going to be looking at Mount St. Helens and the interesting event that happened there. I'm sure some of you have heard of Mount St. Helens before, and so today we're going to be learning a little bit more about it. So today's schedule, we are going to be going through the I can statements, then we will be watching a short video, and we will look at the instructions for doing a close reading. We will have a guided practice, so we will go through part of the reading together, and then the independent practice, I'm going to want you guys to finish going through the reading on your own, and then we'll have just a short writing that I want you guys to complete. So our I can statements. So by the end of this lesson, you guys can say, I can identify the main idea of the text on Mount St. Helens through the use of close reading. I can take the information given from this article to write a short paragraph that gives evidence for creation. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, creation? I thought we were talking about this volcano erupting. Well, some things that we found from this eruption kind of lead us to the conclusion of creation. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. But first, I am going to show you guys this video. All right, guys, so there was a lot of information packed into that video. Some things that I hope you caught. This eruption gave us a lot of information about what could have happened during the flood. And this eruption showed that it doesn't take a long time for these different things to form, these layers in the soil to form. So we've learned about how the different layers have formed over time, and this eruption showed us that it can happen in a very short period of time. And so we are going to go ahead and look at this. We're going to read this article. It pretty much goes along with the video. It has a lot of similar themes. And so we're gonna mark up this text. So I have a couple symbols here. Let me get my pointer out. Okay, so we have this first symbol. So the first symbol is this is important. So you're gonna, when you're reading, and if you see something and you're like, oh, this is really important, I want you to put a little star by it. If you see a key word or like key detail, go ahead and underline it. I understand this question or idea, you're going to put a check mark. You're like, oh, I get that. Like, that makes sense to me. You're going to go ahead and put a check mark. If you come across a word that you're really not sure what it means or you've never seen it before, go ahead and circle it. If you don't understand something, put a question mark. If you're very surprised by that information, put an exclamation point. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of exclamation points in this article. And if you connect this to something that you already know, then write this linking image. And then if you're thinking about something, you're like, I wonder if this means, go ahead and write something in the margin, write something on the side of your paper, just to keep note of that. And then I will keep this key on the next couple slides as we go through the reading, so that way you guys don't have to memorize this. And the purpose of this is so that you guys can have a deeper understanding of the text and kind of really dive deep into what it's telling us and what it means. Okay, so as we're reading, I want you guys to be on the lookout of the main idea of our text today, and also just be critically thinking about what this information really means for us, and how we can apply it to our lives. Okay, let me get out my pen. Alrighty, so we have our title right here, Mount St. Helens. Key to rapid coal formation? Something else to note here, the date of this. So this article is a little bit old. It did come out 3 years after this eruption happened. Okay. The time was 8:31 Sunday morning, May 18th, 1980. 1 minute later, a gaping hole appeared in the face of the earth as an estimated 10 megaton explosion blasted over a cubic mile of material out of Mount St. Helens, USA. The top 400 meters or 1,300 feet of the mountain was blown away, and the blast disintegrated trees and flattened forests for a radius of 11 kilometers or 7 miles. A wall of ash, mud, and broken trees roared across nearby Spirit Lake and swept down Tuttle River Canyon. So there are a couple things here that I'm not really sure about. Well, what is a 10 megaton explosion? What does that mean? I am unfamiliar with 10 megaton. I'm not really sure what that would look like or what that would feel like. Let's see. Disintegrated. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really sure exactly what that word means. So I'm going to go ahead and circle it. And 7 miles, that seems like a long distance. But I wonder if there's something that I could relate that to kind of get a better understanding of maybe what that would be. Okay. And if you guys have any other things that you think might be, you might find interesting or you want to mark up in your text, go ahead and do that as you follow along with me, okay? All right, so we're going to go to our next page. Just one moment. Oh man. Okay. All right, here we go. After the violence had subsided, a gigantic raft of broken logs and stumps was left floating on Spirit Lake. Between the trees were the smaller, charred remains of leaves, bark, broken branches, woody splinters, and anything else that had not totally burned in the horrific gas cloud that poured down the mountain. Oh, guys, that was a really long sentence. All right. The slopes around Mount St. Helens were sterile gray, bare of life, and covered with loose ash and pumice. Oh, what is pumice? You guys ever heard of pumice before? I'm not really sure what that is. I'm going to circle that, and I'm going to put a question mark by it, because I'm not sure. What about sterile gray? I know that when things are sterile, that means they're clean. And this kind of reminds me of when you're in the hospital and things are sterile. So, I'm not sure about that though. So let's see. Gigantic raft of broken logs. That must be pretty big then. So I have a question. Where is Spirit Lake? Maybe I need a map to see where that is. I'm not really sure. I don't think I understand where Spirit Lake actually is in relation to the mountain. So maybe I need to find a picture of that. I'm also not really sure what charred means. I'm thinking maybe it's burnt, something like that, which I guess I don't know why it would be burnt, but maybe we'll get to that. And this seems really scary. Horrific gas cloud? A gas cloud? I have never heard of a gas cloud. All right, guys. The hellish symphony finished over 3 years ago, but its results now provided further pointers to the possible rapid and catastrophic origin of coal. Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's go ahead and go to our next slide. All right, guys, sorry, I'm trying to get my pen out here. Okay. Aerial photographs show that the log raft in Spirit Lake is smaller now. Aerial, what is aerial photographs? I mean, I think that might have something to do with the sky, and they take photos from the sky. I'm not really sure about that one. Many trees have slowly become waterlogged and sunk. Oh, waterlogged. What does that mean? I am not sure about that one. All right. Smaller debris settled to the bottom long ago, but it is the trees which suggest fascinating evidence about coal. They sunk root first. I have a feeling that this right here might be kind of important. It seems that this might be a main idea because twice now they have mentioned this idea of coal. So I wonder how that's going to play out. Many of the logs, as shown in the photo, are floating vertically, roots down. Others suggest by skin divers McMillan and White are resting on the bottom, roots down also. The underwater view gave first impression of a drowned forest. Oh, that's interesting. Do you guys I'm thinking maybe that means that there's a forest and all the trees are in the ground, all the roots are in the ground, and it's almost like the water has just come in and covered the entire forest ground, and like they're saying, it's like the trees have drowned. So I think that's what they're trying to say that it looked like. But a gentle push from the skin divers proved otherwise. Oh, so maybe it didn't look like a drowned forest. The trees were easy to push over, but rapidly returned to the vertical position. Where the depth was less than 6 meters, the bottom areas were devoid of debris. The logs and fragments which have sunk have either accumulated in the deeper basins of the lake or been rapidly covered and washed into the lake as it quickly eroded from the bare slopes. Interesting. So I think what they're trying to say here is that these trees and their roots, they sunk to the bottom, but then they were standing straight up as if they were in the ground, like in the dirt, like they normally are. But when these divers, they pushed them over, they moved, and then they would float back into their vertical positions. That's interesting. Okay, I want you guys to now pause the video and I want you to finish looking at the close reading. In your article on the back page, there is a little table that has the close reading listed there for you. And so go ahead, pause the video, finish doing your close reading, and then eventually you will upload a picture of your close reading for me so that I can take a look at that. All right, welcome back. So now what are we going to do with this information? So because of Mount St. Helens, we know that coal and rock layers can form rapidly. So what can we do with that information? How does this counter the view that the world is 4.6 billion years old? So you guys have learned about how there's a view that the world is 4.6 billion years old, but as Christians, we believe in creation. And so we do not believe that the world is that old. And so how does this idea that coal can form rapidly and these rock layers can form rapidly, how does that play into that? What do we do with that information? I want you guys to go ahead and write just a short paragraph for me that identifies the main ideas of this article, and it also addresses the evidence of the rapid coal and rock layer formations. So we know that this coal was formed very rapidly from this blast of heat, this massive eruption, the pressure from this eruption, and we know that these rock layers were formed. In the video, we know that those little canyons were formed that replicated the Grand Canyon, and it happened quickly. And so I want you guys to tell me what that means. What does that mean for someone who believes in creation? Does that support our view? Could that help us argue for creation? And so I want you guys to go ahead and discuss that, write about that. Give me a short paragraph, and then you're going to go ahead and upload that for me later. All right, so if we remember our I can statements, I can identify the main idea of the text on Mount St. Helens through the use of close reading. So we went through our close reading together, and you guys worked on it also on your own, and you were just diving deeper into the text, asking questions about the text, looking at things you didn't know, words you were unfamiliar with, and then you were critically thinking about that so that we could come up with the main idea of our text. And then I can take the information given from this article to write a short paragraph that gives evidence for creation. So we want to take this idea of rapid coal formation and rapid rock layer formation, and how does that support creation? And how does that maybe make this 4.6 billion year old Earth theory not really make as much sense? And yeah, so go ahead when you are finished with those two items, turn them into me in the class online. And I hope you guys have a great day and that you are able to enjoy this video.